Could the Pittsburgh Steelers do something here in 2024 that they haven't done since the '06 draft? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers considering moving on from a tackle that maybe they have slightly overvalued? Welcome back to Mic Drop Sports, everyone. I am Jason. Let's dive into our Tuesday show. Thank you all for stopping through. Let's first start with that '06 draft where the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to secure a top shelf wide receiver. And that guy's name was Santonio Holmes from Ohio State, a guy that contributed to the Steelers in a monster way throughout his time wearing the black and gold, a guy that became the Super Bowl MVP, a guy in the last drive of that game that really shined. You saw the Pittsburgh Steelers battle the hated Baltimore Ravens, a division rival in the AFC Championship game, where you saw number 43, Troy Polamalu, guide the Pittsburgh Steelers with a pick six to secure a berth in Super Bowl 43. And the magic continued when you saw the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Raymond James Stadium to take on the Arizona Cardinals and Ken Whisenhunt, Kurt Warner, Fitzgerald, the whole 9 yards, the big-time Cardinals team that battled to get there. You saw Ben Roethlisberger navigate a drive at the end of that game, leading with Santonio Holmes, a guy that was catching big balls going down the field, guiding the Steelers down to inside the 20, where Santonio Holmes was able to create one of Super Bowl history's greatest catches on a throw that was one of Super Bowl's best throws ever. And that was Santonio Holmes catching that ball in the corner of the end zone to secure the championship, the 6th Lombardi Trophy for your Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers haven't selected a guy like that since 2006. Santonio Holmes paid immediate dividends, in my opinion, guiding the Steelers to that Super Bowl win in 2009, 3 short seasons later. It's just crazy to see what an NFL draft pick can truly do. The Pittsburgh Steelers have brought in several top-shelf round 1 type receivers, 2 or 3, 4 pre-draft visits. So could the Pittsburgh Steelers really be leaning this way? Is that the way that they want to go to find that number 2, that instant number 2 in the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room? I think it could happen. I think it's a great possibility that it could happen. If one of those guys that they really have their sights set on, I think that they could pull the trigger there, guys, and I think that they could definitely do that. And I think adding more weapons to the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room would behoove them and would not be a bad pick. I know there's need at tackle. I know there's need at center. I get that. But I think you can find those guys still in the draft and still get one of these top-shelf wide receivers, even if you take one in the first round. Now, several media personalities have the Pittsburgh Steelers as one of 3 or 4 teams inside of that top 20 that have the potential to move up, to trade up. So we'll see. If the Steelers trade up, I don't think it's for a wide receiver. I think it's going to be for a tackle or for a center. I think that that's how they would do that. Those are my thoughts. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, say you get a guy as talented as Marvin Harrison Jr. that falls down to the bottom of the top 10. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers slide up and pull that trigger and make a move on somebody of that status? I mean, the options are so limited, guys, are so unlimited. It's really, really cool to see. And the Pittsburgh Steelers do have the potential to do something like that. Would I say they trade up into the top 10? Probably not, because the price is too high. But if there is a guy there that really intrigues them, I would not be surprised if they moved up and got him, whether it was a receiver or not. So we'll see how this all unfolds, but this could be the first time in 20 years that the Pittsburgh Steelers select a wide receiver in the first round, and the potential is really, really there, guys. There's an interesting article on Channel 11 WPXI out of Pittsburgh where they talk about that same thing and talk about some of the receivers that they may have brought in for pre-draft visits. So you could check that out. I did see it there also, but I thought it was very, very interesting, and I wanted you guys to hear it also here on the channel. Let's dive into the next thing that I want to talk about. Also, I do want to talk about some of the things we talked with Merrill Hodge live last night on Steel City Live. Sorry about those technical issues at times, but we're always learning. So I do want to talk about some of the things he said here at the end of the interview. Let's dive into one position that the Pittsburgh Steelers may consider moving on from a guy that has really worked hard. And this is a story from Ray Fittipaldo, also Noah Strackbine from All Steelers Talk. They did an article talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers having the potential to possibly be moving on from Dan Moore, and that it could be in the works, and it could mark the end of Dan Moore Jr. These guys, Ray, Noah, all these guys that have contributed to this article that I had read, are talking about how Dan Moore Jr. has really significantly busted his butt, guys, to put it in regular terms. Busted his butt to get the status that he has with a guy like Mike Tomlin, with Omar Khan, to where they really believe in him. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have options here. In the article, they talk about a young guy named Spencer Anderson. Boy, guys, he did wow last year. Did he get his opportunity? No, because the offensive line wasn't beat up. It didn't get to the point to where you had to bring in a Spencer Anderson. But Spencer was able to take that year and really work hard. And Spencer has a lot of things that some of the other offensive linemen don't. And that is the ability to move across the offensive line and play many different positions. And I think center could be one of those. But Spencer Anderson is very versatile, a guy that they got in the late parts of the draft in 2023. And I think that he could still really figure into the Pittsburgh Steelers' plans because of the way he played last year in practice, and the way he worked, and the way he showed that he can still get this done. But you have Broderick Jones, guys. You want him to play left tackle, and Dan Moore Jr. might be expendable in that aspect. When you look at guys like Spencer Anderson that can slide in, you look in the potential of the 2024 draft to where you could get a quality tackle, and you could get him on that rookie deal and get him cheap. Wouldn't it be something special to have two bookend tackles at elite levels on rookie deals? Tell me how special that would be. Broderick Jones going into year 2. Another rookie that has super big upside on the right side of the offensive line on a rookie deal, where your quarterback is protected by two guys that have elite level talent. Tell me how special that can really be. That would be something that you could really, really get excited for. When you trade a guy like Dan Moore, maybe you get some real value out of him. Maybe that helps you in terms of moving up in round 2 to get WVU center Zach Frazier. Wouldn't that make sense? What you get in return for Dan Moore Jr., you could package that together to slide up to ensure in the second round that you get your guy in Zach Frazier, that you bring in that last piece after you maybe draft a tackle in round 1. And all of a sudden, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line has the potential to be really good. Adding guys like a Spencer Anderson into that swing role to where they can play everywhere, to where, hey man, Spencer can get the job done if there's an injury. Spencer can do this. Maybe Spencer goes and battles for a starting job in 2024 somewhere across that offensive line. They would have some serious options here, guys, and you can't go wrong with this. You get a Mims, a Latham, a Fuga, anybody that would be one of those big name guys. Wouldn't that really be cool? Or getting another one of those swing guys, too, that have really high upside, later in the draft. There are so many things that the Steelers could do inside of this draft to really secure this offensive line, and I really feel like maybe trading off a guy like Dan Moore Jr. would be in their best interest, sadly. Nobody is disrespecting Dan Moore Jr. with this, the way he's worked. They really like him in the locker room. Here's a quote from Ray Fittipaldo. "I don't want to disrespect Dan," Fittipaldo said. "I think he's worked hard and he's gotten better, but he's definitely someone they can move on from and improve at that position if they have a chance to, for sure." That was a direct quote from Ray Fittipaldo off of All Steelers Talk, All Steelers, their website. I wanted to read that to you guys and give them credit for this. But everyone's here saying that Pat Meyer, Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, all these guys really have a lot of respect for Dan Moore Jr., so we'll see how this goes. But definitely, I think, too, and I agree with Ray, I agree with Noah, I agree with all those guys about that there's a possibility of getting rid of him, and it would probably be a probably be beneficial. And it's not disrespecting Dan Moore Jr. It's doing what's best for this football team. And I think that it could provide some serious upgrades in other areas. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if Dan Moore Jr. is one of those players that has moved before the 2024 NFL draft or even draft night. You never know, guys. Things could really get crazy there. But I also want to talk a little bit about what we did last night. We had our live show. It was at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We started a couple minutes late. We had former Pittsburgh Steeler and former Chicago Bear on, Merrill Hodge. What a class act, guys. I have to say that, and I have to say that now, and I'll talk about it again tonight on our live show, tonight here on Mike Drub Sports for Steel City Live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will bring it up again. But Merrill Hodge, guys, I will tell you that he is a absolute class act. His significant other and publicist, Angela, is absolute wonder to work with, absolute class act. More people in this world need to be as nice and as caring as they are. They are truly one of a kind, man. They definitely extended a hand and were very gracious to give our channel here on Mike Drub Sports the opportunity to bring Merrill in. And I gotta say, I will never forget my first big time interview with a guy like Merrill Hodge, and I will always be forever indebted to him for that gracious move by allowing us the chance to talk to him and to give us some good football knowledge. He talked about how there's different kinds of play action pass, in the run game, in the pass game, in the RPO game, how he broke that down for us. He talked about how how the tackling needs to be different, how he was involved in the players' initiative to change these rules and make things safer. He talked about the equipment, the concussions, and how maybe there was a misconception of how he ended up retiring, and it was due to mismanagement of the concussion protocol, and how he went into cardiac arrest inside of the locker room. Just like you saw DeMar Hamlin do on the football field, Merrill did that inside the locker room, had that happen to him inside the locker room, and they were able to revive him and get him back, and he had to learn how to write again, learn how to do so many different things, but he was able to fight it, and he gave a positive message of Find a Way. That's one of his books, and I want you guys to go out and look for his books. One, I believe, is called Brainwashed, and the other is Find a Way, and I gotta say, guys, you got to go out and check his stuff out. He's absolutely amazing. The things that he has been through, the way his life has went on, and how he's been able to overcome things in the deepest and darkest times. It's a truly inspirational story, and they should make a movie about it, in my opinion. So if you're a producer out there, let's get a movie made for Merrill. Let's get that done. I think it would be definitely something really cool. Also, if any of you have any type of company, business out there, group, that you would like somebody to come in and be an inspirational speaker for, and to really give you something that's a solid message, and one that is going to be something meaningful and actually have some real worth to it, make sure you go over to Merrill Hodge's website and get in contact with the Find a Way people, and they will be more than gracious to you, and you will definitely not regret bringing Merrill in as a keynote guest speaker to really get your company fired up, to really get it going. And I just wanted to make sure I threw that out there, and really wanted to thank Merrill again and applaud him for how cool they really were, guys. I was super nervous, so nervous, but I was able to become comfortable as the show moved forward, and really was able to find my footing as I chase my dreams to become a guy that talks football on a absolute large scale. That's really my goals. I want to be able to talk football on a large scale. Now, did this venture start out as that? No, it didn't. Never did. It was just a guy that wanted to talk football with some buddies, and you guys have given me that. I do want to take it to the next level as we move forward. I want to be able to talk football on a grander, larger scale. But I will always do this and talk football with my core group, my Mic Drop Mafia members. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And I want to apologize for not getting to any fan questions last night, but we ran out of time and I wasn't able to get it done. But if you have any questions for Merrill, you can email me those questions, and I will email Angela, and maybe she'll give me a response from Merrill later down the road. So we could do that maybe. So if you want to do that, email me at micdropsports@yahoo.com. Also, guys, don't forget, tonight, our live show, we're going to recap the Merrill interview. We're going to talk about all this stuff that we talked about in today's video and much, much more on Steel City Live. It's going to be a great show tonight. We're going to try to shatter our view record, all that stuff. We are going to go crazy tonight and have a monster show. So don't forget us at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Mic Drop Sports. So until tonight and tomorrow, peace, guys, and have a great day.